Okay, so earlier today I did a few searches about uncircumcised penises. I haven't really said that much about penises over the past few years. I mean, most of what I've said has had to do with just trying to explain over and over and over again why the coughing is not okay, the sneezing, the nose rubbing, and everything else. These the constant references to vaginas, whether they're meant to be negative references, which really most of them are, or meant to be positive references, which are totally inappropriate. The way that they're being done is entirely and absolutely inappropriate. Really is sexual harassment. I've mostly just confined what I had to say about it to talking about that. But sometimes I really do get very frustrated because it's not going away, and it really should be all of that behavior. It really, I mean, there's a little bit less of it than there was, but it seems to be at this point turning into something that a lot of people are doing. And the truth of the matter is, penises can have a smell, penises can be unattractive, penises can look a lot of different ways. Personally, I am someone who really doesn't, an uncircumcised penis, I have a particular immediate, just visceral reaction to it. I mean, it could be because I'm Jewish, or was raised to be Jewish, and sort of just the whole, Judaism has its own set of rules and regulations, lots and lots of rules and regulations about life, and even though a lot of them, I don't think there's anybody who's able to follow every single one of them all of the time. But you try, people who are more orthodox will try, and people who are less orthodox don't worry about it as much. But I think maybe just just sort of the mindset that I grew up with, felt just there was something just in a pretty serious aversion to an uncircumcised penis. And I also, most of my experiences have been with circumcised penises, so I never had to deal with it that much. I think it's a sort of thing that it doesn't have to be a deal breaker with someone, but it is something you have to get used to if you are not used to it. And also, it's not something to just be mean to your partner about, or talk about it all the time, or tease them about it continuously. It's really not a very nice thing to do, especially if the person has told you, look, stop teasing me about this. I think it probably requires a little bit more care. Men who have not been circumcised, I think they have to be a little bit more careful with having how they sort of get clean and that sort of thing. But there's certainly things that you have to be aware of and deal with when you are not circumcised, that you don't have to deal with or even think about when you are circumcised, right? It's just kind of one of those things. This is the first page of search results for just uncircumcised penis. But it's true. As far as just my own, you grew up a certain way, you live your adult life a certain way, you just sort of get used to certain things. This article, I read some of it, and there was just this sort of a lot of discussion about this one. Where was it? Where was it? Yeah, there was one that was trying to talk about how it has something to do with your partner, and then when I with the search result. The search result did, and then when I actually went to the page that was shown there, was it this one? Oh no, it's the next one. Yeah, fishy smell. No, it was this one. Yeah, it's trying to blame it on the partner, and then when I actually went to the website, they were all other. There kind of didn't seem to me. It was just kind of a lot of comments, and sort of then there were other discussions being well, what if you had the problem before you were with your partner? And you can't really. This is something that I addressed before. I think probably there's a lot of guys that get yeast infections because whether they're circumcised or not. And they pass them on to their partners, but they don't talk about men having yeast infections. Really, they talk. They only sort of make all the jokes about women. But here it is. Penis smell. There's the number of search results for it. Literally everything about what the conglomerate has done in regard to women has been just entirely and absolutely about male dominance, and hypercritical of women for no reason. really, really abusive to women for no reason. You know, and I've tried not to take this route with it and to say, look, you know, why don't you just, you know, worry about how clean you are, versus instead of, you know, continuously attacking just like innocent women everywhere. You know, I just the entire thing. I don't even know how, I really just don't even know how to talk about it anymore. Everything about it has been so utterly disgusting, so entirely and absolutely evil, and so entirely and absolutely destructive of women's rights, women's gains in society. You know, and of course, the things that they've said about women are also part of what they do to try to promote child molestation, because, you know, children have not sort of grown into puberty. They don't have sex characteristics. They don't have secondary sex characteristics. You know, I mean, the entire thing really truly is total evil. It is.